Every day I've spent here, I've wondered, how did all these people let it come to this? Minds and bodies ruined, dreams of freedom erased, personalities burned away. No one would want to go to war if they knew what it would do to them. But it's not like we all leapt into that hell knowingly. Most of us were pushed. Some of us were pushed by other people. And some of us were pushed by the environments we grew up in. So, the few who do choose to leap into hell see it differently than the rest. And they're also able to see something beyond the hell. Maybe that something is hope, or maybe it's just another hell. Fact is, you can only find out by moving forward.
Eren Jaeger started his story as a weak and helpless victim. His home was destroyed and his mother was eaten before his eyes, and there was nothing he can do to stop any of it. No matter how angry he got, no matter how much determination he had, no matter how many tears fell from his eyes, there was nothing he could do to change the fact that he was living in a cruel world. Even after training for years and becoming a soldier, he was still weak and honestly would have just died like any other random soldier in his story.
How has it come to this? Why has everything been taken from us? Our lives, our dreams, everything. Damn you all to hell! I refuse to die like this! I'll drive them all out! Kill them with my bare hands! Do you hear me? With my bare hands!
Luckily for Eren, while he himself was nothing special, his father was, and his father bestowed upon him a weapon that could change his entire future. A weapon that only Eren, with all of his determination and conviction, could wield to his fullest potential. A weapon that pushes towards freedom, whatever the cost, same as himself, the Attack Titan. With this power, Eren could finally make a change. He could finally put his rage into action. He could finally defend himself and his loved ones from those who would harm them. In the beginning, he only had to destroy the mindless killing machines that he had nothing but hatred for. But everything changed when he realized that his enemies were not only Titans, but people too. Still, his conviction did not change. Still, Eren wanted to kill anyone who was his enemy, whether they human or Titan. When Eren discovered the truth of the world and realized the gravity of his situation, that every other human outside the walls saw him and all of his loved ones as monsters that had to be eradicated, Eren's conviction did not change. He realized at that moment he had to kill anyone who got in his way, regardless of whether they be a Titan or human, and regardless of whether they be a soldier or a civilian. And thus, the story comes full circle. The young and weak victim grows to become the wise and powerful attacker.
If we work together, we can overcome any obstacle, any threat!
I was right. I am the same as you.
I ask each of you to join me as I go to fight the...
He knowingly and intentionally kills innocent people while attacking Marley, but he does so only as a means to an end. His ultimate goal, knowing that he will die soon due to Ymir's curse, is simply to ensure that his friends and his nation are no longer in danger after he dies. This is Eren's ultimate goal, but he does have a few caveats. The first is that he wants the solution to his problem to be absolute. He doesn't want there to be any room for errors or chance. The second is that he does not want to sacrifice Historia and turn her into a breeding machine. So there are three options that are presented to Eren in order to achieve his goal. The first, Armin's plan. Armin suggests a small rumbling that will show the world that Parity is truly a threat to them and would hopefully deter them from attacking until Parity has enough time to advance technologically. This plan is weak in Eren's mind because there is not a guarantee that Parity will not be attacked even after a small rumbling, and also it still requires Historia to be sacrificed. So understandably, Eren does not go with this plan. The second plan is Zeke's. Zeke wants to use the Founder to change the biological makeup of all Eldians, preventing them from having children. This will make it so that the Titan bloodline essentially dies out over the next 80 years or so, and makes the entire world more peaceful. This plan is better than Armin's plan, in Eren's mind, because it meets one of the caveats mentioned. Historia does not have to be sacrificed, but it does leave the fate of Parity to chance. This is because if Eren goes with Zeke's plan, there will be nothing to stop the world from attacking Parity, even if their biology is changed. The third plan is Eren's pretend plan. The plan to destroy every living being outside of Parity. This is the only plan that achieves Eren's main goal while also meeting both of his caveats. Historia does not have to be sacrificed, and also the fate of the island would not be left to chance if everyone who could possibly do them harm is dead. So of all of these plans, Eren goes with his real plan, which is to kill 80% of the Earth and somehow end the Titan Curse. I still don't know how Eren ended the Titan Curse, but he did. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to focus on that. Anyways, this plan achieves nothing other than preventing Historia from being sacrificed. The fate of the island is left to chance, and there is a very real possibility that the remaining 20% of the world will rally together to destroy Parity once and for all. And without the ability to turn into Titans, nor the technology to compete with these nations in warfare, this puts Parity in an arguably worse situation than they were before the rumbling. This means that the fate of the island is left to chance, which was one of Eren's major caveats as well. So Eren's plan actually goes against his goals and is actually more harmful than good for his friends. The only way this story could have ended logically was for Eren to be doing a 100% rumbling. Even if he got killed before completing it, his character would have remained intact because he would have had conviction. That's the problem with this story. Eren just doesn't have a concrete motivation anymore. We all thought that he wanted to 100% guarantee the safety of his friends and to destroy all of his enemies, as he has always wanted to do from the beginning of the story. But instead, he wanted to just make things harder for them. Or maybe he never really had any say in what he was doing at all. Who knows? Other than Ymir, that is. Isayama intentionally makes it vague, and it's just not very good. It's not very convincing. It's just not very interesting. Eren Jaeger went from a character who had complete and total conviction, determination, iron will, relentless, and downright scary motivations, to a character who just doesn't know what he wants to do, why he wants to do it, how it's going to get done, and just doesn't even want to achieve the goals that he set up for himself. He turns down every other option, every other possible solution that has been presented to him for this plan. A plan that is worse than all of the other plans and does not solve anything. 80% of the world, millions and millions of people stomped and crushed to death. Innocent people, children, killed. All because of this plan. And I'm supposed to believe that this is a good character? I'm supposed to believe that this character has conviction? And someone I'm supposed to root for, mourn, miss, remember fondly? It's almost disrespectful to ask that of your audience. Eren Jaeger will go down in history as one of the most disappointing anime protagonists to ever exist. People will try to compare him to Lelouch, whereas Lelouch's plan was completely concrete and full of conviction. I still remember the final scene where Lelouch has to push his sister Naminé out of the way. This scene was so powerful to me that even though I saw it over a decade ago and have never watched it again since, I still remember it. It was so powerful how this person who went through everything through the entire series to protect his little sister had to hurt his little sister in order to protect her in the future. To watch him have to push her out of the way, and knowing how much that must have hurt him to hear her beg for him to stop and to continue, is something that was so powerful and so painful and just an amazing moment in anime history. That does not happen in this story. However, if Eren had have destroyed the entire world and maybe even had to have killed Mikasa and Armin and some of his friends, it would have been able to elicit that type of response from me, because I would have seen that Eren's conviction was so strong that even his friends would not be able to get in the way of achieving his goals. But instead, we got this lackluster ending where Eren doesn't kill any of his friends and is never really in control of his decisions at all. And at least that's what's hinted, and it's just disappointing. I think this plan was just absolutely terrible, and it doesn't make any sense. It's a pseudo retcon of Eren's character, and it should be regarded too as a failure in storytelling by everyone.
It didn't have to be like this. All that death could have been avoided. 5 years ago, if Dad hadn't done what he did, your sister, she would have been able to do something to stop all this. But because my dad chose to steal your family's power from its rightful owner, countless people ended up getting killed. Armin's grandpa, Thomas, Knack, Mina, Milius, Marco, everyone on Levi's squad, the people of Stohus, and the soldiers who came to save me. And honest, I can never atone for all of their pain. That never should have happened. Those days I spent in training, that stupid dream that I could see the world. And me too. I shouldn't have happened.
Many people who believe that the ending to Attack on Titan was good refer to the cold and calculating Eren as Chad Eren. They believe that the audience is only seeking the satisfaction of seeing Eren be a heartless killing machine, but fail to realize that Chad Eren is nothing more than a meme. Real fans of the character understand that there is no such thing as Chad Eren. There is only Eren. This is confirmed by the story itself when Eren begs for forgiveness from an innocent child that he will one day brutally murder. Even while Eren cries his eyes out to this child for seemingly no good reason, he is still remaining 100% true to his character. Eren has been attacked before, had his home destroyed before, and he understands that he is actually going to be doing what happened to him to millions of innocent people. But he has no choice. This is the only way to save his friends, so he must keep fighting. He must keep moving forward.
Hey, if we did cross the sea and we killed our enemies, after that, would we finally be free?
If Eren had actually done a full rumbling like I believe the story was leading towards, it would have not only made Attack on Titan the masterpiece that it was destined to be, but it also would have given Eren Jaeger the most well-written, convincing, and phenomenal villain origin story in the history of fiction. I mean, think about it. What villain in any story has ever successfully destroyed the entire world while also being completely relatable the entire time? It's never happened before. The closest we have is Thanos, and even he wasn't handled anywhere near as well as Eren was. Isayama dropped the ball with his best written character and made him into the opposite of what he always was. He no longer had conviction, he no longer had motivation, and he was not willing to push towards freedom whatever the cost after all. He was just a slave all along, convincing himself and his followers that he had a right to freedom only because he was born, when in reality, the world would have been a better off place if he had never been born in the first place.